Hey everyone, welcome back to Special Guest Livestreams Wedding Edition. I hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful spring rainy season that we're in. As we get into warmer weathers, we're going to be able to start reaching out and connecting with our group and our community face to face. So we have our See Our City Differently photo walks, coming up here shortly. So keep an eye out for that. These are going to be very interesting because we're not just going to go out and we're not just going to take some pictures. We're going to go out and study some aspects of composition, seeing lighting differently, and being able to help you guys and help really just inspire each other to be more creative in the environments that we're used to. Something that I challenge myself every time that I go to a location that I've been to. Even if I've been there 100 times, I always challenge myself to take a unique shot in that location. And I talk to so many of you guys, especially if you're from the capital city, the Lansing area. We don't have a lot of blessed areas to take pictures, but there are a lot of different things that we can see and do in our city that can create some really, really cool pictures. That picture I took a tour of the other day was literally the Lansing Lugnuts baseball sign. You would never notice that. So if you understand what you're looking for when you're looking for that shot in your composition and certain lighting patterns and things of that nature, you're going to be able to really open the door to be more creative and just create better shots. And so these photo walks are going to be able to help us inspire that creativity and help see things differently. So we have some requests, but if you're outside of the Lansing area and you want us to do a See Your City Differently photo walk in your town, shoot us a message and let us know where you're at, and we'll see if we can make that happen over this summer. So real quick, before we get to the man, Mr. Jeff Tisman is in the house, and we're excited to have him. We are launching our new Portrait Sports and Seniors podcast, something I've mentioned here in the last couple episodes, something I've been trying to put in line as far as schedules go. Obviously, it's wedding season, it's sports season, so a lot of photographers, including myself, are super, super busy. So trying to add another monthly podcast has been a little bit challenging, and plus, I wanted to keep the caliber. I mean, obviously, guys, you've seen the level of photography in the guests that we have had over this past almost year now. And I wanted to keep that caliber in line with this next segment. So just to give you a heads up, these are confirmed people that I've talked to. We just got to kind of finalize the schedule, guys. But man, Jason Lanier is I'm going to try to have him open up this series because Jason's videos literally were the number one resource that I had and tool that I used when I was learning off-camera flash and I was transitioning my photography from boring drab to the best that I could possibly make it. So to have Jason, he's got over 300 YouTube subscribers. He travels the world regularly with his amazing portrait work. So Jason is going to probably be leading off and kicking off this series. So I am so amazingly excited and honored that he is going to be joining us. Matt Canterbury, insanely cool, edgy, emotional, but bright and fun, super stylistic senior photographer. He's got an amazing Facebook group that we're going to introduce. We're going to be having him join us in June. Nathan Loker, Tony Dixon is going to be coming up. We're working on an August date. So, guys, some really, really amazing senior and portrait photographers. We got some really nice sports photographers that we're working on as well coming up in the near future. So be excited and keep an eye out for that new series for all you sports senior and portrait photographers. All right, so enough about that. It is time to get to the man. Jeff is one of those guys that I have been watching for a very long time. And everyone that knows me knows that I'm a lighting guy. I absolutely love the poppy, like our last guest, Chris. Seeing those colors is just absolutely amazing to me. However, the one thing that always caught my eye with Jeff's photography was the emotion that he brought to his imagery outside of the great lighting, obviously. But his connection with his clients in the way that he can just bring out so much energy into an image through his subjects is breathtaking. We're going to see that in some of his images tonight. So number 2 globally, number 2. This was a Flash Masters race that I enjoyed every bit of it. I loved watching you and Tim go head to head every week, and I don't think. I think Jeff's going to have this year wrapped up in the bag. He's kicking ass right now, and his images are just blowing away. So number 2 globally last year on the Flash Masters list, top 50 fearless, and rated in the rated by World's Best Wedding Photos. It is my privilege and honor to introduce and have with us tonight Mr. Jeff Tisman. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. Tim and I were kind of bantering back and forth, and his photos were amazing also. So it was super cool to kind of go in, it was kind of good challenging each week, kind of, trying to come up with something that would, be something cool. So it was
People
awesome.
always say like there's no competition in photography, and I'm like, well, you're doing it wrong. I don't care if you and maybe that's just me with my game face or whatever, but I tell you, like, for me to do my absolute best, there better be some competition. There better be some type of motive.
Competition's fun.
It's
fun.
To be mean.
Yeah, it's totally, yeah. It's just done in fun. So there was it was all good.
I think it can be used. The term inspiration can be
100%.
vaguely kind of mixed into that same thing with you're being competitive. You're seeing your peers, you're seeing others do these crazy cool things, and if you're not hungry for that same desire to want to create that, then you're going to be missing out. And so,
yeah, I agree 100%.
Well, I'm excited to have you here, man. When you sent me your images, I literally sat there and just looked at that gallery and just stared at them. Just a wide variety of, again, not just amazing lighting, but just amazing moments that your clients absolutely have to love.
Yeah. That's all part of it. Thanks. I appreciate it. It's always hard when hey, Jeff, send me 5 of your favorite images. They're all kind of favorites, and they all mean something different. And, it's always a hard thing to kind of pick out some. So hopefully we'll go through them and people will get something out of it, So,
well, I am sure they will. This first image, I think, is something that I think a lot of times people will get out of this podcast rather than maybe some other ones. And that's just the emotion that you bring to the table with your clients. So before we jump into those pictures, though, give us a rundown on what are some of the tools that you have. Like what do you work with? I know, and I absolutely love it because I'm that guy as well. But let us know that there are better products than Sony out there.
Yes, I'm not a Sony guy. I'm Nikon. I've been Nikon from day one, back in high school when I took photography. Film, learned on film, darkroom, that kind of thing, which is funny when it's like film is making a comeback. And I'm actually psyched. My daughter just signed up for pre-college classes, and she's taking a photography course, and there's a darkroom there. And I asked, like, are parents allowed to come in? I'm like, sure. So it'll be cool to break out some of my old negatives and develop them with my daughter. So I'm really looking forward to that. Nikon, I use, this is my flash point. This is like my main, this just happened to be here. I didn't even know you were going to ask this question. And that's how I know that's my gear. I put Raise Hell on everything. From the Devils. When the Devils were in the playoffs last year, that was like their logo, Raise Hell. See, I have my other flash here. So my AD300, I love this flash. And then when I'm using small ones, I use these little can lights. They're awesome. Also, I use Geekodo modifiers. And yeah, I mean, that's, the main thing. It's simple. I mag mods when I use my gels. Of course, I use my mag mod stuff.
Okay.
Grids when I need them, but mostly I keep my stuff very simple. It's funny, a lot of times when people come to some of my workshops and I teach what I do, it's kind of simple. I kind of change my mindset of it's not about me and lighting and doing all that cool stuff. It's more, and thank you for saying what you said. I want to capture my couples. I want to capture who they are, and I talk to them pre-wedding, like, what is it you guys want? And they start thinking about it, and it comes up with different thought process. And like, oh, you mean we don't have to do a shot on the staircase with the big chandelier? I'm like, no, we don't. We don't have to do that at all. So I really, when I do that, so it just keep it simple, and that's it, really. It's lenses are always, what am I going to use? Depends on the situation, and simple lighting, and that's
Yeah,
kind
I was
of
just say
it.
you usually just stick with one light.
Yeah, 90%, unless you see that gel in there most of the time, unless it's the champagne photo or a champagne exit. Um, Man, I would say 90% of my stuff is one light, and that
Assistant
you go, say again.
on a stick with an assistant. Do you have an assistant?
Always an assistant. Yeah, yeah. I don't
Okay.
even do headshots without an assistant. Just to make my day easier. Yeah, always,
Yep.
always have an assistant. And I'm kind of like so shocked when I talk to people like, you don't have an assistant. Like, no, I never thought I needed one. And so
Yeah.
always have an assistant.
I didn't think I ever needed a $150 pair of jeans until I had a $150 pair of
Nice.
jeans.
Right. There you go.
And
Man.
having an assistant's one of those things like, I don't need an assistant.
Yeah,
So you
it's
have
so worth
one.
it.
It is by far worth it.
Yeah.
So
And plus have one, like there's a guy I work with a lot. This guy's Dave Alonzo Blaze, if he's out there listening. He just knows what I need. Like I could be thinking and he's just, he's his hand is there with my
yep.
85, or I'm thinking something else. Like he knows what I need. And when I'm shooting a reception, it's all off camera flash and stuff. I and there's a photo, actually. I hope you showed that one of the bride getting picked up. That was a perfect example of having an assistant, knows what you need, knows how to light. It's not just, hey, pay a friend, come. Like it's a funny
Yeah.
story if you show it that we'll talk about it. But he nailed it, and
Yeah.
I nailed it. I was laying on the floor. It was like an insane situation, but having an assistant that knows what to do is so important,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interpreting your shots. I've worked with some assistants where I think the biggest thing that I saw differently was the really good ones anticipated what I was thinking. They, they
Hmm.
they had worked with me before, especially at the reception when you're moving around. Sometimes a
Yeah.
lot of fast movements, and if your assistant's not interpreting that well, and you guys are not connecting,
Yeah.
so it is important to have an assistant that knows
Yeah.
lighting. Tori, my fiance, she's not a photographer, but she knows lighting pretty well because she holds my stick for me. Like she loves
Yeah.
going to my wedding. She connects with my brides very well when I'm in my camera. But on the other
Hmm.
hand, having that assistant that knows what they're doing
Yeah.
is huge, and it's obviously proof. And just seeing what you can do in seeing your work with not 5 or 6, and all this other things. Keeping it simple, you got the work to
Yeah.
prove that it can be done. So.
I like to try to just keep it simple.
So before we jump in this image, I'm excited. I got this thing staring at me in my face. Um,
Curious to see which one it is.
I'm excited, and I'm just this year it's kind of sucked. I promised no conference. I took the year off from conferences. Um, I've held off from any workshops that
Mhm.
big ones. Tori and I are getting married in December in Tulum.
Nice.
So this year was all wedding stuff, but then your workshop is literally on my bucket list. Like your workshop is one of those workshops that I just cannot wait to take. And then you went ahead and launched it this year. So
In December. Sorry, man, for
no,
this
you're
year.
good, man. I'll catch you sometime. I will catch you
Hopefully next
sometime.
year there'll be another. Yep. Yep.
Well, I feel blessed to be able to have the chance to get to know you well enough that I know that I'll be staying connected, and I will know when the next one does pop up.
For sure.
But real quick though, because if anyone is watching that is ready to make that investment, or thinking about making the investment, or wondering if the investment's worth it, because that's what I hear the most. I'm like, geez, Pete is spending $3,000. I'm spending $5,000. Hell, it's sometimes even 10 to 15,000, depending on what workshop you're going to.
Yeah.
They're huge investments, but they're life changing as a photographer. I'm telling you that these things are not things you go to and leave empty handed.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff's workshop is one of those workshops where literally it will change your game. I know Scott Tibbles, group member, cool guy, friend both of Jeff and I's. we had a chance to work together a couple weeks ago, and Scott was telling me and applying so many different things that he had learned in one of Jeff's workshops. So these are things that are literally going to change your photography game. So before we jump into these images, Jeff, can you break down and just tell us a little bit, and then sometime, if you have some time, but maybe when we get off, to leave some information in the comments for the video where people can attend some of your upcoming workshops if they're not already all sold out. Are they all sold out already?
No, not sold out. They're not sold out. I just announced 2, one in Vermont, one in Vegas. And I don't want this to be a sales pitch, but I want, if people are at all interested, go to my website and read the reviews of the people that took them. It's very humbling. It's amazing spending time with these people, but the comments I've gotten are incredible. I mean, some have even literally written me handwritten letters how it changed their life and stuff. So it's more than a workshop, and that's what I want them to be. When I said I'm going to finally start doing this after 30 years of shooting and 1,000 weddings, people are like, when are you going to do it? When are you? I was like, I'm not ready. And I felt I was ready, and I took everything. Like I still love going to workshops. I will still go. I'll still go to 1 or 2 a year and conferences and constantly learning. And that's how you keep your game up. And I feel like people, I get it, man. There's a lot, and everybody's like, "I'm with me, 6 figures." I'm not promising 6 figures. I'm there's not going to be models there. We're going to shoot each other. I want to teach you the tools to do it. It's not about portfolio building, And one of the cool things I do, and actually speaking of Chris, and I have that guy named Andy Medea in Vermont, back to my rock and roll days, I used to shoot rock bands for a living, and that's kind of leads a lot to my style. And people are like, how do you get these photos? It's from my background.
Right.
I used to tour with rock bands and go on the road, and it was amazing. And yes, I still would rather do that than shoot weddings. But there was always an opening act at the rock show. If I'm shooting a band, there was an opening act. And I thought, how cool would it be to have an opening act at my workshops so that people don't just hear my do it, this is the way I do it. It's like, hey, here's how Chris does it. Here's how Andy does it. I just had Tampa, a great friend of mine, Esteban Gill, spoke in Tampa. He was amazing. And my
Your
friend Mike Randolph.
That's like saying Rolling Stones are going to open for you.
Having Esteban. Esteban was opening for me. So, and I had a guy named Nelson Santos, and I almost want to be like, people haven't heard of these people, but they're incredible. Obviously, everyone knows Esteban, but just to show people, here's more value for your money. It's not just about me, and it's really cool. So instead of me talking about, like, go to my website and read the reviews. And if anyone has questions, I'm happy to get on the call and see if it's right for them, because
your Vegas one, man, like Chris is one of those cats that if you don't know about Chris, you're going to.
Unbelievable.
I mean, kid is killing it, dude. Like,
he's on. Well, the funny thing about it is when I reached out to him a few months ago, even before your talk with him, I was like, dude, how long have you been doing this? And when he told me, I'm like, where have you been? Like, he's like, I just decided to start posting. I was like, dude, he's unbelievable.
Amazing. He's got.
So we're planning something cool for my Vegas workshop with him. We might do like a photo walk around Vegas, and we're gonna see what he's doing. Because I love the whole gel thing, but it's not necessarily my thing. Where Chris is just, another level, and that's what's saying. I will learn from him. I, by no stretch, am I like, stop thinking and learning, because that's how you're going to get better. Never gonna,
I can't tell you, like, if you've never had a photo walk in Vegas, if you've never done a photo walk in Vegas, you are missing out. Just yourself and a friend and a couple flashes in your camera.
Yeah.
A night on the town in Vegas is something else. Walking around Vegas with you and Chris, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That is going to be insane. So I tell you, people, please, Jeff, just make sure you share some of that information in the comments when we get done, if you don't mind.
Okay, I will, sure, 100%.
Just because I really want people to have this opportunity. And if you're on the fence about education, damn it, stop. Seriously, like every person that I look up to, or every person that I admire and respect the work that I chase as far as the inspiration goes, every person that I've ever talked to that was that next level photographer where I wanted to be as a photographer, to get to that next level. Every person that I've ever talked to, every one of them said the same thing: education, experience,
Yeah.
hands-on. You know, when you invest that time and that money, and sometimes it's a big investment, especially if you're a family and you're maybe just shooting on the side and you're like on that cusp of, boy, I really got this. I got, I got some friends I do a lot of pictures for, but I could really turn this into something really special. But man, my work just doesn't stand out quite enough for me to feel confident to make this a full-time gig. Dude, taking Jeff's workshop is going to take you to that next level where you can finally say, hey, now I'm going to add another $20,000, another $30,000 to my household income. And I couldn't do that before, but as soon as you come back from the workshop and you start applying some of these things, like you said, Jeff's taken 30 years to learn this, and he probably learned it at a workshop.
A lot of it, and 100%, man. Between the hotel, the airfare, the food, it starts piling on. It is a big investment, and I am so aware of that. And I want this. I'm not just saying it, man. Like, I want this to be the best workshop anyone's ever taken. And like I said, go read the review. Like, people have written to me and like literally the best workshop, hands down.
Well, your
like
price
I said,
point is great too. Like your price point is amazing, dude. You're not. It's not a astronomical investment.
No, thank you.
There's so many out there, so many others out there that you're like, holy shit, like $5,000, $10,000,
Yeah. And if anybody wants to make payments, you can make 3 payments, only $500 a piece, and pay it off. The August I'm in Vermont, and November is Vegas, so you can pay it off between now and then. But I really, like, I don't know how to say it more honestly. Like, just trust me. Like, I put everything I can into it, so.
This is one of those workshop guys that if you've been on the fence and you've really been wanting to step up and take a world-class workshop, all of Jeff's, Esteban is an amazing, he's like the Ralph Lauren of wedding photographers, and again, shooting in his style and his venues, really just, he's an amazing photographer as well. That is an amazing lighting photographer, but also uses very minimal lighting when it's there. But like having a workshop with such a connection with the photographers that you've brought in, plus yourself, guys, this is it. So
thanks.
All right, so let's you got anything to add, man, before we jump into these?
No, I don't want to, let's talk about the photos. That's what people want to see and hear.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop over to this first one, AJ. There we go. All right. Let me get it full here. Again, this is just pure raw emotion. And unless the groom has been drinking heavily before this moment, it took a damn good photographer to be able to get this couple to just come alive like that. So, break us down. Kind of explain the couple, explain the moment, explain how in the hell you got such an amazing shot.
So again, in talking, and so this is a really cool, beautiful venue in Jersey called the Ashford Estate. Top of the line, gorgeous. Grounds look just like that with the flowers and beautiful and all that. And, this goes back to who my couples are. And I love what Lanny and Erica say, get your grandma's mantelpiece. And I do that. So every photo you see, know that I took a safe photo of the bride and groom, a tight 3/4 full length. Okay, cool. We're done with that. Let's go have fun. Yeah. And it rained like every weekend last year in Jersey here. It was horrible, but I just want emotion in my photos. I want photos that, like, I can't explain, but just like that you want to show who you are. Like, I'm not necessarily into, the editorial, and they're beautiful. I have this weird back and forth, like, war with myself of like, yeah, they look cool, but they also look like they're really pissed at each other. When you look at editorial photos and, the bride's looking that way and the groom, it's like, right, it's cool, but they're going to want that photo in 5-10 years. So I look at a photo like this, like, if I wish we had a photo of my wife and I guess I'm still married, my ring is somewhere, but, just somewhere that if my daughter looked at it, it'd be like, oh my God, what's going on? This is so cool. And basically, this is getting to know your couple. And this bride used to be a cheerleader in college, and I wanted her to, like, she had this gorgeous dress on and the hair and the heels and all that. And it stopped raining finally, or it was drizzling a little bit in this. And I just like, one of the things I use in my workshop a lot, and it's kind of funny because people have been like, get merch of that. I say, get fucking crazy. And you're the one who's going to allow your couples to do these things. You know,
Yeah.
are you belong. Like, something I tell a lot of my assistants, or if I'm mentoring people, you belong at that wedding. You can tell these people, yes, it's okay to do this. So I just had them throw the umbrellas in the air, just do your favorite pose, you do fuck something crazy over there. And they just had fun, you know what I mean? And they loved it. And it's awesome. And the venue doesn't know how to react to these photos because they don't post my photos a lot. I'm on their referral list at this particular venue, but it doesn't fit that aesthetic of, moody and dark, or light and airy and pretty. It doesn't fit them. And that's what I want in a way. You know what I mean? So that's what this photo is. It's me. And I don't want to say it's like, oh, I give the permission and let this happen, but it's me giving permission that, yeah, it's okay to do something fucking crazy on your wedding day.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I love it. I think that's a good perspective, because I think sometimes, and a lot of times, people do need that. They need that encouragement.
Yeah.
That green light.
Dude, your couple will, I'm telling you, one of the things I talk about when I talk to my couple, I tell them to make me a mood board. And it's not about, I'm going to do these poses, but maybe she sent me a photo on that mood board of her jumping in the air or doing something. And I'm like, okay, I can ask her to do these things. It's not, we're just taking pretty photos, So anyone that's out there listening, I want you to start thinking, do you want those photos of those editorial? I get it. It's like the thing now and everything, but when clients are looking for photographers, everything starts looking the same. And then a lot of times when I'm interviewing my couple, they hire me, like, what made you go to my website? Like, Jeff, your photos were just different, So that's what everyone that's out there that's listening, just start thinking to yourself, well, look at your photos and take a hard look. Are they different? Do they just look like everybody else's? And you get lost in a sea of the sameness, So that's what it's about. For me, at least.
I've asked people about their business for 20 plus years. I always ask them, like, hey, can you tell me something that's unique about your business? And I shit you not, man, 90% of the people, customer service. I'm like, no, don't give me that bullshit. There's great customer service down the road here. Like, the customer, that's not unique. And I tell you what, literally 95% of the time, people couldn't tell me one damn thing unique about their business.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing about your photography. Like, these are my pictures. Well, okay, but what's the thing unique? What's the thing that I'm going to see in you that I'm not going to see every damn other place? People are like, I can't book this. I can't book that. Sports for me was the same thing. Sports, I was doing it exactly the same damn way everyone else was.
Mm-hmm.
Failed years. And we were just talking about this with AJ a little bit ago. He thought I just got into sports. I've been trying to do this shit since like 2004. What are you talking about? I failed. I'd give up, and then I'd go back to it. And then finally what it took me being able to say, I have something different. I have something unique. I have something different about my images. Same thing for you. I mean, I bet you there's been probably 1,000 photographers that stood in that same exact spot, but does not have anywhere near the coolest ass picture like this. Like,
no, thanks, man. That's what it is. It's just, but that speaks to me. It's not just about being different. It's like, that's what keeps me going is I don't go to every wedding like, oh God, I'm going to do the same thing. Yes, I do some photos, but I'm capturing who the people are as opposed to just making the same photo every weekend. So that's really what it's about to me.
And I think that goes into the prep. And I think maybe sometimes,
100%.
especially when you're a newer photographer getting into weddings and stuff, maybe taking that time or finding value in spending that extra time with your client isn't at the highest priority. But I think the more you get into this, the more of value you put on that. I do that with my senior clients. I absolutely love that senior experience because now I get to start talking about to the kid about their intimate personal loves and passions that they got in their, and then to be able to reach in and grab and be creative in ways to be able to bring all of those little details that are important to them out. I think with that perspective into a wedding client, you're going to achieve a lot higher success.
You'd be surprised. You
Yeah.
really would be surprised. Like they'll love to do it, and I try to do it at every wedding. Is get something unique that's just for them and stuff,
Yeah.
So it's fun. It makes it fun.
Well, I absolutely love it, man.
Thanks.
Where's my mouse? There it is. All right. So we got some behind the scenes for this one. This ceiling was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's cool, right? They're all beer kegs. They're all a ceiling of beer kegs.
Really?
So.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, and then the window in the back is just absolutely stellar as well.
Yep. All there was really cool. They were just bottles against the yellow kind of wall or something. It was kind of interesting.
Well, those Edison bulbs just give the perfect temperature lighting for this.
Yep.
So I think this is something good, something we talked about, something I talk about to anybody that asks questions about how to set up shots and how to light. This is how the camera saw the image.
Yeah.
This is that finding. I was like, find your shot. So it looks like that's this. He's got the gist of his shot right here. Now he's testing the ambient and he's dialing it in to those bright spots that he wants to really capture and make part of the photo. So I think where you see that true richness is just walking into the room and seeing it how you want it without the light, right?
Yep, exactly. Just get the ambient, what you want to see. A lot of these doing composites, people, again, I think overthink them, but they're really, again, I don't want to say they're simple because that's not a fair statement to say because it's like anything, actually. Like my daughter, she's playing music and she's in a show this weekend and she's practicing and she's like, oh my God, it's so easy. And I say, Aurora, because you practiced. Right. And it's the same thing with these photos. Do not try to execute these photos at a wedding. Get 2 or 3 of your friends and start off small. Like again, in the workshop, what we talked about, we're going to do a 1-shot composite. Then we're going to do 2. Then we're going to get a big group. So you have to learn the basics before you kind of run and do your own thing, And that's what this is. And the funny thing about just so people do know, just so I use a tripod for these photos in case anyone's asking out there.
Okay.
There's 16 people here, and to just be like, I have my camera on a remote and I am constantly talking to each one of these people to keep their attention and keep their gaze and encourage them. And I'm constantly talking throughout this whole process because there are 16 photos here and you will lose your subjects if you do not, I feel, engage with them, That's
incredible. I love that perspective because people are always like, well, I don't have an assistant. And again, going back to a conversation I had with Scott at the wedding we just worked at, he told me about the trigger and mentioned that he had learned that in one of your workshops. Yeah. And he doesn't have an assistant, but he does a lot of composites in his work, and they're beautiful.
Scott. When he does it, I wouldn't promote that in my workshop the way Scott does that because it is pretty amazing that he's literally. But just to show people, it is possible. You can do it. I wouldn't recommend it. But. Yeah, so that's it. Get your thing, and then I guess the next one is going to show 1 or 2 kind of lights and how I do it. But that's the full on. There should So let's
go back to this one.
So that's each person is individually lit, and I just go down the row and talk to them, and that's like I said, it's my Geek Odo in there, and I just do that, and each person I light and do it.
No.
So you got to go back to go forward. Yeah, there you go. So that would be it. Everybody's lit like that, and then we'll do that, and then I just straightened it out in the next one, I think, because I'm kind of crazy like that. And that's it. It's like I said, it's simple, but it has to be learned. And like I said, I am literally, my camera's there. I am talking to each one of those people and trying to get them. Something else I talk about in my workshop, and it's not just in in bridal parties, in life. And I pretty much probably remembered, God, almost 80 or 90% of these people's names, where I would say, Jackie, turn your head this way, Steve, blah, 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 blah. And I would talk to them. And people are so impressed if you can do that. If, like I said, in life, if you can develop a way to memorize people's names and address them by name, not you, no, in the back, you, no, you. I'm telling you, if you start using people's names, you will go far in life. I'm telling you, if you take nothing from this talk we're talking about, remember people's names.
Well, brother, I tell you what, if you can host a workshop on how to create a successful way to be able to do that, you will be a millionaire.
I'm telling
Instantly,
you, man,
bro. Like that is the hardest thing. Oh.
I've booked jobs with. I've literally had people like, I am so impressed that you know, like, you can remember everyone's names.
No, I have
like,
friends.
Oh, thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. And and they're like, still remember my name. You know what I mean? It's just like people. I'm telling you, it's such a lost art. That
my finance manager guy, my investment guy, he's that guy.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. And it really it's noticeable. Like you're just like, holy shit.
You will notice it.
Good for you, man. Like, wow.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant where the waiter or waitress says something and they're talking to you? And it happened with us in Disney World, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the girl, she was like, oh, Aurora. And my daughter's Aurora. And oh, Vanessa and Jeff, what would you? And I don't know if she went back and she saw our magic bands. Who the hell knows, dude? But we were impressed, and she got an extra tip for that. It's like.
No, in Disney, the server was actually just an AI droid. And it just...
Oh, really?
No, I'm just joking.
Because I figured maybe you went the Galaxy's Edge and they had some droid coming over to you or something.
It's weird that we're in a time that I made that joke and you actually thought it might be real, and it very well.
Why not? Yeah, right. Why not? Could be.
If that's a manual focus.
So is this a Jeff? How do you do your focus?
So I shoot about. This is my 24-70. Probably shot at 4 or 5, 6. I just focus on the bride or the groom, and I don't touch my focus anymore. That's it.
But you open up a little bit to.
I'm 5'6". Like I said, Mike, say this is my camera. I've got my trigger. I am literally talking to each person, making eye contact. I'm also looking at my assistant, and when the way I light, I don't like that light kind of an angle where it's like blasting everyone. I kind of have my light always like this down, and it's just feathered a little bit. And that gives just so much more drama to me than all this light falling everywhere. I don't use a grid. The light
don't use a grid.
Really
okay,
close.
that's you don't use a grid.
Don't use a grid.
Don't use a grid. Okay, all right.
The light is
that's
really
a different
close.
technique. So I like that.
Yeah, the light is close, but I am talking, and I'm also seeing like TJ actually helped me with this. Ladman Studios, super cool guy, and it was his first time helping. Actually, he was one of my workshop attendees, which was great because I've had a bunch of assistants helping me at weddings now. And, he wasn't as familiar with what I do. So I could be like, TJ, to the right. And I try to do it quickly. These photos take a long time and people don't want to sit there and they get antsy and lose it. So you got to just, to the left, to the right, center it. And I'm constantly doing it because it's all about keeping the people's attention and stuff,
But your angle is also... You do have enough angle where you're not getting the deep, dark eyes.
Yes, so that light, if this had the modifier on it, it's never straight down. I kind of just angle it, so that's feathering out like on the sides. I don't like those dark raccoon eyes. One of the things I would say, chins up, everybody, chins up, chin up, chin up, chin up. I'll like constantly. Even like sometimes when people are doing it right, I may just to keep that kind of banter going with them, like chin up, chin down, pick it up, and they're moving and they're getting a feeling for what's going on and stuff. So
you let your subjects move?
Say what?
Do you let your subjects move during the process?
No.
Okay.
Once we have it set up, I probably lit this in 5 minutes, if that long, 16 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I tell them, all right, like I'm doing my test, I'm like, all right, guys, we're ready. You guys ready for this now? You know what I mean? Then we kind of bang it out, you know? So
This technique is obviously something that's still new to a lot of people. Like there's still
hmm
people that are just blown away by this process.
hmm
There's a few that have seen this now for quite some time
yeah,
and use it regularly and are really comfortable with it. Friend of mine, Pam, and another friend of mine, John, they were practicing and they didn't have a bunch of people, and they used the mannequin.
yeah,
So
fine.
literally, you can use anything to practice
Anything,
this.
anything to practice it for sure.
But it is a technique that once you get down, once you have that process down, besides the posing aspect, the shot itself can take 10 seconds. I mean,
Yeah,
it is, and especially like if you're working alone, it may take a little bit longer. But if you have that
yeah,
assistant, and especially an assistant who knows what they're doing, and you practice this and you get this shot down, there's so many cool things, and not just on a term of a group shot, but
not
you can
anything.
twist and
I
turn
do my
and
cakes. I do my details like this sometimes, composite with the cakes and stuff,
yeah.
you know? But what interesting this thing is cool about it on Instagram I posted the other day. I don't think it may have been this shot and another one I posted, and it's not a knock on natural light photographers, but I feel like what if like it rained so much last year? How cool would it be? It's pouring out and you can roll this photo out for your couple or the bridal party
Yeah.
or whoever, you know, and just see the difference. Like this is what it looks like natural. This is what it looks like, and it's like, wow, you
So
know what I
different.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like those are the kind of things that are gonna make your couples go wow, you know?
And I think that's one of those things where when you take a workshop like yours, and then you have these techniques in your bag,
Yep.
I think a lot of times, and I've had this conversation with brides and other people where, what's the difference between a $3,000 photographer and a $7,000 photographer, or what's the difference between a $2,000 photographer and a $5,000 photographer?
Yeah.
You're going to see a separation of more opportunities. A great photographer, a $7,000 photographer, will walk into any room and blow you away.
Yeah. Yeah.
A $2,000 photographer, you better have an awesome venue, nice overcast day. If
Yeah.
everything, your cards line up, there. But the higher price generally
Yeah.
that you go, not always, but generally, um,
Generally.
the more opportunities that photographers are going to be able to create, and you're
Yeah.
not always going to get those perfect situations.
Yeah.
So knowing these techniques are just going to literally up your game
Yeah.
and up your value as a photographer. So
Yeah.
amazing shot though. I mean, amazing place. I absolutely love. Now, just to be devil's advocate, because keeping the coolness in the outside, was that something that crossed your mind? Did you ever think of bringing some more warm color into the lighting from the exterior?
No,
No,
not at
okay,
all.
just like the true. Okay, all right, I'm just wondering.
Not, it didn't even cross my mind.
Okay.
But what are you saying though? But what do you, I'm open to your critiques.
No, I just like I just and in my thought process, I thought it looked good because of the colors of the bridal party.
Okay.
Because the blue from the outside, those cool temperatures coming in, they match the bridal party colors. So I was like, oh, maybe he left it there because it totally
Yeah.
goes. It's like totally legit.
Yeah.
But just like color grading the temperature of the outdoor lighting coming in to match more the warmth of the interior. That's what I was curious. All right.
Dude, just so people know, I know this much about Lightroom and Photoshop. I'm not a big, you know, making switching sides and making light rays come in and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I use two-man presets for 90% of my work and then I use the sliders and say, "Ah, that looks pretty good there." I don't do layer masks. Yes, on these I do obviously where I erase it, but I don't I'm not a technical guy at all. I'm telling you, I'm not.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Yeah. So
Obviously,
people
keeping
out
it
there that
simple,
are
simple, but
listening, it's I keep it simple. You know, I'm not, yeah. So
well, when you do it right, that's
yeah, it
all that
works,
matters.
right?
All right, this was a cool one.
So this, yeah, thanks, man. This is like one of my favorite photos. And
Yeah.
again, get to know your couples, guys. pint of beer. They got married in a brewery. They were total gamers, and I just knew they'd be up for anything. They were such an awesome couple. They were up for anything. And I was in this brewery and I was just looking, and it kind of reminded me, I don't know why, because when people look at it, like, it looks nothing like that, but it reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're all kind of standing up in this tube-like thing or something. But I wanted something cool. So this is where Magmod came into effect. Obviously, a red gel and a blue gel. It is a composite. I was across the brewery inside. They couldn't hear a word I was saying. So
Right.
my assistant was wherever, off to the right or to the left, because it's a composite. She lit him. She lit her. She lit her. And I had her in my phone. I would say, "All right, Barb, and if they weren't doing it, Zach, give me more, man. Come on, get fucking." And they did it. And they are like, "Yeah," and you got there. One of the things I say, it's great. I love the movie Miracle. Big hockey fan.
Okay.
And Herb Brooks says the legs feed the wolf, and he makes them skating, and they're going harder and harder. And that's what I say in my work. Like, you have to feed your client. If I just said go in there and do something, they would have sat there. They would have just looked at me. Good, okay, got it. But I'm not yelling, but I'm encouraging them and coaching them and telling them to get fucking crazy. And it was awesome. So being gamers, I wanted it to look like, like a video game almost,
No,
or something.
the lighting definitely enhances, and it does have that total, that glitch bot kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
I
and
think you
that's
just made
what
a
I
good
was
point,
going.
Jeff, because honestly, like, I had so many flashbacks of moments where I regretted when I'm sitting back at my computer looking through the shots. But you said it, dude. You're like, "Oh yeah, just okay, go here. All right, perfect. All right, good. All right, cool. We got it." I can't. If you're a photographer and you can say that you've never had that moment, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, yeah, right.
We've all had that moment, and then we get it back to the computer, and shit's just not right. It's like this
Yeah,
moment that you created, but you just missed it. And I love that advice, just to go hard with your clients and
yeah.
give them the green light that it's okay to get crazy.
Yeah, yeah, you have to talk about everything. Even they walk down the aisle. Like, how many times have you shot a photo and they walk down the aisle? It's like they're walking the plank on a pirate ship. It's like, guys, you just got married. Like, fucking pick her up. Like, do something. And again, if you encourage, then the crowd goes crazy. Then they feed off their guests, and that's the difference. Christian Cardona said something great in his workshop. He says, "On that day, you are the best photographer in the world." I love that. It's like they hired you. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're there for them, you know? So that's what it is. Like, just go in there and just, you know, again, like, I don't feel like Tony, obviously everyone knows Tony Robbins, and he kind of says, like, I created Tony Robbins. That's a persona. And I feel that that's me, because I am an intro dude. I am the one at the party. Like, what time is it? Can I leave now? I feel so shy. I'm awkward. But I get that camera and I become Jeff Tisman,
Yeah,
like, like that kind of thing. But
that's my
if I'm not,
Alexander Martin. It's a different persona.
yeah, man, it's a
It
different persona. I
really is, man.
create myself, and people, you know, all
Yeah.
right, what should we do? I'm like, you're gonna get fucking crazy. You're gonna climb that. You're gonna jump. You're gonna throw the umbrella. And I say, and like, they're into it. You know what I mean? What they don't want to do, the same, like I said, just again, going back to the editorial look where people look angry at each other. I just don't
Yeah.
understand. And again, I get it. It's awesome. I'm not good. But again, thinking about my photos, how I want my wife and I, like, we laugh and just do crazy shit. And it's like, I want that for my photos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my process, is like, well, what is it I want? And of course, what my couple wants. And then you talk to them and get to know them and stuff. And like I said, these guys, these two people doing that photo, their first dance wasn't a first dance. They played a video game against each other. They brought a
That's
video
awesome.
game. They had a giant screen. All their guests were like encouraging them. And it was so funny. They were like throwing each other off of buildings. And he beat her. And I caught the whole series. And that was their first dance. So this photo, of course, they absolutely love. Actually, on their album, I think it was an acrylic album, they had it in their cover, and it looked so sick. It was the cover of their album. So
So part of your workshop, do you teach on how to get the coolest clients in the fucking world?
I do.
Like, where do you find these
I do.
people?
It's all you have. Well, like the old saying says, you have to show what you want to attract. You know,
You know, I
like
yeah, nope.
it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, when people, I always tell people, listen, if you're getting married at the hoop-de-doo, I don't care where you are, and you want that shot on the staircase, I'm gonna do it, but I don't post it. You don't have to tag me on it, but
Yeah.
I literally walk past it. It doesn't even register in my mind. There's a wedding planner I work with. She's always like, I need the pretty, Jeff. Did you get the pretty? I'm like, oh shit. She's like, did you not see that staircase out there? I'm like, God, no, I didn't. And I'll tell my second or my assistant, dude, go get a shot of the staircase. Like, I don't give a shit that you just spent $70,000 on fucking flour. Oops, sorry, the cursing. You spend, like, you put all this money on flowers on a staircase. It means so little to me.
Yeah.
But I get it. The couple wants it. I get it. Like, I understand. I'm not saying don't do it and I'm not going to shoot it, but it doesn't register. So when I'm at a venue, Richard, you want that staircase shot? Okay, the gazebo and the fountain, you got to tell me, dude, because I am not shooting them,
Yeah.
So this is all pre-planned way ahead of time. I have their list. I'm like, oh shit, we got to go do that photo at the do it. I do it. I don't want to think anyone think like I'm some ego maniac. I do it, but it doesn't register with me. And the funny thing about it, when you start talking with your couple, they'll be like, you know what, Jeff? Yeah, I don't need a photo at the gazebo or the fountain. No, do what you want, man. So that's what happens more than 90% with my couples,
Well, I think too, the more that you build that relationship with your couple, excuse me, where when you can get into those pre-wedding consultations and you can start kind of planting those seeds. We're like, like, hey, I know we're at this so-and-so venue and I know they got the staircase. You want the same old staircase picture?
Yeah. Everybody else.
Do you really want that one? Yeah, I do want it. Okay, cool.
Well, but I always tell people, this is your wedding.
Right.
You don't have a photo of that couple there. Like, I had a couple once. I did an engagement shoot in New York Times Square, and they're like, "Is that lame?" I'm like, "What does it matter? Who cares if a million people shot there before? This is your engagement food. These are your weddings. Like, do what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. We will do it, because what we're going to do, we're making it unique to you guys, and it's going to be about you guys. So that's what it's going to be, Yeah,
you got to find that fine line. But I think, like you said, your work displays what your new clients want.
Mm-hmm.
And so
exactly.
All right, let's hop on to the next one here because we got a few of these. What time is it, AJ? I don't have a clock.
7:53.
It's almost 8.
We're good. Yeah, we're good. We're doing good. I love these. I searched and searched. I did something new this year for my seniors. I did a destination senior.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're traveling for your spring break already, and instead of doing your senior pictures here, let's do them on your spring break. So we had some beautiful skies, beautiful buildings, and I just could not find a reflection to line up because I absolutely love these. You and Jesse both, Jesse LaPlante.
Jesse Moore, awesome.
He always has these amazing reflection shots, and you as well. So where are you at in this one?
So again, going to a wedding, thought process, telling time, place, all that good stuff. This bride got married in Vermont, really cool place called, I think it was like Mountaintop or something. And this is what she was looking at on her wedding day, this gorgeous view of Vermont, the mountains and everything else. And again, it's kind of like a little tricky, but that's where this AD300 comes into place, where people are like, well, you don't need that much power. And it's like, it's not about the power. The modeling light on this is amazing. So again, my assistant, he's off to camera right a little with a 26 and modeling light is on. And one of the things I always kind of talk about is when I do, let's say 90% of my getting ready photos, I want them to actually do it. You can always tell those photos where it's like the makeup artist is like this and it's like, okay, did you get it? It just doesn't look real.
Yeah.
And I would go in there, say her name was Haley, the bride, just ignore me, ignore my assistant, makeup artist, ignore us. I think her name was Jessica, just ignore us. We're not here. And I got my phone's in my pocket. All right, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm moving the light and I'm focusing. I am not manually focusing. I am doing it because I can see the modeling light on her.
Right.
And I'm just shooting it, you know? And when you do these things, you want your subject in the darker spot. You don't want her like in the sky where it's bright. You want her in a dark area.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's, again, simple. One light, execute, make it happen. And that's all it is in this one.
So do you use any continuous lights outside of the modeling light?
I don't yet. I'm trying to, but I'm not comfortable enough yet to use them at weddings. Yeah. If that makes sense. No,
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Jason Vincent, his use of his continuous lights and
Jason's another fucking mind level, man. Like
crazy dude.
I mean, you got these people like I mean, Jason's unbelievable. Like that guy, I haven't taken one of his workshops. I took one in Florida, but it was a conference thing, so it was only like a 2-hour thing. I would love to take Jason's workshop, but he's unbelievable.
He was actually the inspiration, and I am nowhere close to him whatsoever. But he was actually the inspiration of this photo walk series that we're doing locally here this summer of seeing your city differently.
Cool.
The way
I like that.
Did you see his the bike rack picture he did with the girl laying on the ground in the bike rack?
Bike rack. I probably did, but I don't.
He shot a flash through a bike rack that made the shadow lines on the ground, but had her laying on the ground, but shot it from above. But just seeing the environment, like you would walk past that area a million 100%. Times and think and never see that. And I just, and he did the one in the parking ramp where the sun coming down, and he had the bride on the ground, the parking ramp. Like just seeing that, like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way that I would have saw that, and to be able to see those things like that is amazing. But the continuous lights are something.
But that's what's so great about workshops and education. Like, you can learn from all these people, and it's so great. And again, going back to shooting, as long as I still absolutely love doing this because of it. Yeah. It's like it's not a drive to be the best or I gotta learn. It's like it just keeps you like I want to learn how to do that, and it's like it's I mean,
well, my attention span, that's what I love about photography, because it's never ending. It doesn't get boring.
Lifelong learner, man.
Oh man, it's just it's
constantly learning and growing. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So I still think, I mean, into most photographers, to a lot, I would say a higher percentage of photographer, just being able to say to yourself, hey, how can I capture the bride and what she's seeing at the same time? Just to being able to think like that. Like the reflection shot is one of those shots that it took me years to even consider, like, what the hell is that? How do they do that? And it's a very simple technical shot. But the hard part about it is being able to find the shot and being able to see that area differently, and to be able to say, hey, wow, what an amazing reflection. How do I capture? And like you said, where are you placing the bride?
Well, she was there, but one of the things I do in my thought process going into the wedding, for example, like that composite photo with the ceiling, I try to go into things like, what's the iconic, speaking of like your Epcot ball behind you, which you said isn't the Epcot ball. But like, if you ask anyone that's watching, is that the Epcot ball? Probably 99% of the people say that's the Epcot ball. So you want a photo in front of the Epcot ball. You want a photo in front of the Magic Kingdom, in front of the Tree of Life, and all these different iconic things in Disney. So I think about like, okay, I'm shooting at such and such a venue, and that venue, I shot there before, knew about this crazy ceiling, and I did this photo. I also laid on the ground and shot one at them because it's their iconic photo. There's a place in Asbury Park where they have a cool, it's all disco balls, and nobody ever shot it the way I shot it. And it's like, go into these venues and think, what's going to be different here? What can I do that's going to be different to capture that venue so it gives a little reminder of what that venue is, and then do it differently. So when the venue sees it, it's not that same photo that everybody did. It's like, wow, we've never seen that before.
I
And
love
it's
hearing
like, yeah,
that. Isn't that the
cool.
coolest shit in the world to hear from a venue?
Great. That's what it
Or
is.
another wedding person, or another person just in general that sees
Yep.
a lot of pictures or sees that area, and sees that you have captured it differently.
Yeah. Because people are afraid to do it because they don't think they can. If you are allowed, you are the best photographer in the world that day. They will listen to you. Cover your ass, get grandma's mantelpiece, and then move on and really do something that speaks to you.
I absolutely love that advice. All right. I love Indian weddings.
Yeah, well, they're amazing. But again, I just showed this because same kind of concept and everything. It poured on their wedding day. Like when I say poured, it did not let up. It was a nor'easter, constant rain. This is inside a thing called a hoop house of plastic walls around, like just it was pouring. But being able to give this to your client on a wedding day when it's as shitty as the days they had, trust me, they will love you for it. So this venue luckily had this and that cool thing in the back. I photographed the bride and groom, just isolating that with like a 200. It looks like we're outside, backlit it with light, made it look like sunlight. There's so many things that you can learn how to do things that if it rains on your wedding day, you're not like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's raining.
Yeah.
You can rock this out, So that's the only reason I put that in there. It's just learning these techniques so you're not like, oh, I'm a natural light photographer. It's like, that's great and all, but you should have this in your back pocket to pull out when the weather does not cooperate.
You always have stellar posing with your group composites or your group shots in general. Like
Thank you.
You do a really good job with balance, and I love the idea that you go back and forth. Like you create symmetry by different angles. And I really love that. I think it encompasses the people so much better than that damn bunch of sticks in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
God,
yeah, man.
So boring, but this is so cool.
This totally goes back to my rock and roll days of when I used to shoot all the, rock and roll. And I just spoke to another photographer about this yesterday, and they were asking about, and it all starts with the bride and groom, and then I kind of build out,
Okay.
And you just, I just kind of look and see, turn your shoulder this way. Most of the times it's like if one person's this way, the other person's this way. And then I would have two people, then I would separate them and have a person go back. And, it just creates it so much more dynamic with the posing. And posing, I get it. But you just got to do it again. Having that kind of confidence to do it, like again.
I always get the feel like that your group frames the couple. Like I think the chairs the chairs to me create the direction, but then the direction of the two inside young ladies facing in it's like it's the opposite of the outside, but it's still the same direction. You know what I mean? It really just draws your eyes right to the center, dude. It's awesome.
But if you see the chairs, one's backwards, one's forward. This one's forward, this one's backwards. So they're kind of like they're almost like mirroring each other in a way.
But I'm saying, but 99% of photographers would just put the chairs facing forward. No one would ever have thought about in the world. I mean, and they're beautiful chairs. They got great woodwork. It really adds a richness to the photo. So, and to have the lady on the right, like gangster on the arm on the back, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
But
that's why
it's such that it's awesome, man. The symmetry.
Dude, there's so many times when I do photos like this, all the girls like, we want to be badass also. It's like, all right, let's do it, you know? So 100%, have fun with it. Everybody wants to be cool,
I think that's a good reference that I may use from this in the future. Like, hey, let's do a family photo. Do you want to do a family photo, or do you want to do like a rock and roll album cover? Like, let's make this really cool. And I really like that reference because I feel it kind of gives them a reference to give that green light again, to be like, all right, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Good picture that I think 95% of the photographers in this situation, this picture would have been just a picture. They would have just been, you know what I
Mm.
mean? It would
Yeah, it
just
was
been
shot
some.
natural light and just because it was lit enough because the ceiling was like clear, like tent, you know.
Yeah,
So
yep.
the natural light was in there, but it just you kick it up a notch,
No,
you know.
the posing in this shot made this spectacular for sure.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Ah, one of my favorites. I like
Yeah,
that
this
there's
is.
two different ones because there's different ways and different looks to do this shot, and I'm glad that I think we have two representations of this. This
I
one's my
do all the same. Um, again, we've all seen the champagne shot, but couples love it. It gives them time to get fucking crazy and just
yeah.
let loose and just have fun,
And do you use the
And this was so
champagne or do you
cool.
use water?
No, it's real champagne.
Yeah.
It goes all over me. Um, but this was their wedding attire. They changed, and this was like their party outfits. We wanted to do a cool shot with them. We did something kind of cool where I lit it
It's a
kind of
rock star
cool.
suit, man.
Yeah, dude, isn't it
That suit
awesome?
is awesome.
Great couple. They're such an awesome couple. Pundry and Paul, their names are, and they were just cool people, like just cool people, and they were up for anything. But it's simple. It's one light overhead, 26, the Geek Odo. I use a backlight, one facing them, one lighting up the background with the gel, and that's
So
again, I
what
don't
is the
say it's
background? Is it a
simple.
brick wall? Is it a
So
rock
that
wall?
so
What the hell
when
is that
I
thing?
it's just the wall at the venue. When I look to do these things, I want darkest space as possible. And sometimes you go to venues and they're all lit up and they have lights that turn on automatically. So a lot of these times I'm like, all right, guys, I'm back here, and like, where the hell are you, Jeff? I'm like, I'm in the dark. Um, but again, going back to this, I have it in the 26. The modeling light is on, and I am nailing the focus. I am rapid shooting, banging it out, and every single photo is in focus. Um, and that's one of the reasons I love the 300. It's just for that modeling light. Even if we're at the reception, I have this in, I have my assistant change it out. Probably could handle it, but the modeling light is definitely not as bright in this little one compared to the 300. So
That 300, that extra 100 watts makes a big
it's
difference in the
it's
time that you.
huge.
Yeah, it really is.
It's huge because I do a lot of high speed sync stuff, and this doesn't overheat. It quick recycle time. It's
I
great,
like
great flash.
I like high speed sync enough that I have a sweatshirt that I'm actually
Oh,
wearing.
there you go. Nice.
I was
That
wondering, I
is
was like,
cool.
why do you turn this? Why do you turn it off? Do you know why high speed sync is even just an option to have on and off? Is there a
It sucks
technical?
up your dude. It sucks up the power. The cool
Oh,
thing, high speed sync. I don't know how it is pulse. It's like pulse flashing with your like it's insane how it works. The thought process behind what's going on is mind blowing.
gotcha.
Like
Okay. So it
it
just takes
sucks
more
up your
battery power. Power.
yeah, a
Okay.
lot more. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a Geekoto 200 user, and dude, I do my volume sports. Like I did 300 lacrosse players the other day
Wow.
with six 200s,
It's amazing. It's
and
awesome.
I still had half power on those things. It's just
Mm.
absolutely nuts. But
It doesn't Gigoto has a 280, right? I think.
I think they may have a 280. I know they have a 250.
Okay, because I think there's a 280 also. I'm gonna try out and see if I like
I
it.
will I will have to look into that. But
Yeah.
now
But
how are
just if
your
anybody's wondering, it's the 26 overhead, relatively close.
yep.
And that's why I have them. If you go back to the photo, I have them angled at each other so the spray goes that way as opposed to straight at my assistant and I.
Gotcha.
So, you know,
Hey, I had a question from Seth. How do you get your couples, or how often do you get couples who don't want to do any of the cool stuff? uh,
probably honestly zero
yeah, I think
for
that's what kind
real.
of going back to that is like you shoot eventually what you shoot will draw in the couples
Yes, my
that will match what
couples,
you're doing.
I love every one of my, for real. Like, I'm not just saying it. Maybe I have a problem couple here and there, but
Yeah.
I do 25, 30 weddings tops a year, mostly like 25. Every single one of them is awesome.
Yep.
Like, for real. I'm not even like lying. Like, I actually just had lunch last Sunday. A couple that I'm shooting in August drove up to the Hudson Valley where I live. We had lunch together.
Yeah.
You know, they just wanted to hang out. We were going to go for a walk with my dogs. It poured. We went to a little pizza brew pub up here and had beer and pizza. You know, like,
I think that's one of those things where, again, going back to the education, and I will always drive education. But a lot of times you hear from photographers who are kind of just getting started, right? They want to jump in, and you hear the biggest thing is, "I want a second shoot wedding. I want a second shoot to learn how to do weddings." It's like, that's not really, that's not the best way to learn how to do weddings, you know.
yeah,
Or I'm going to become a photographer, so to do that, I'm just going to not charge nothing.
yeah,
You know, I'm not going to charge. I'm just going to charge like $100 and just be, oh, I'm new. No one takes and I'm in this group as well. But anyone that I give advice to, I always really try to tell. I was like, I know it's going to be hard, but don't put yourself out there.
yeah,
Like, take pictures of your friends and go do free shit. Don't charge,
yeah,
you know, like, and don't do an overwhelmingly large group of free stuff. Do it with like a
yeah,
handful of your friends. Educate, workshop, mentorships, get
yeah,
yourself where you want, because as soon as you open yourself as a photographer, you start creating an interpretation that people have of you as a photographer.
yeah, yeah,
My limelight clients, and I still shoot every now and then. If we need a photographer, I still shoot my limelight clients, and I love my limelight clients. But my limelight clients they want easy, they want fast, and they want good, and they want stress free.
hmm,
If I asked my limelight clients to do some of the stuff that I asked my Alexander Martin clients to do, they would look at me and tell me to go take a flying leap out the back of the
yeah,
truck, because that's not what they hired us for.
yeah,
They hired
yeah,
Limelight for great service, a great experience, a really good photographer, and a really easy process.
yeah,
We don't get hours, we don't get great venues, we don't, you know, but that's not our clients. And we have developed that brand because there was many years that I didn't go to workshops and I didn't learn my lighting and I didn't do what I was supposed to. I was just shooting a shit ton of weddings. But at the same time, I was also creating who people looked at me. And then now when it was time for me to step up my game and my work was actually improving and I was doing some things that was actually more of a value, I couldn't do that because people, you know, so when you're creating your brand, you better create it with work for the clients that you really want, not the
yeah,
clients that you can just get. Because
yeah,
eventually those clients that you can just get become what your brand becomes.
yeah.
So I would say if you're getting clients that don't want the cool shit you want to do, either stop getting clients until you learn how to do the cool shit really well and go out and get those
Well,
clients.
it's also, it's okay to say no to people. And I get, like, I'm not saying I don't, like, oh shit's slow. People want me. But, you know, I turn people down every year, average of two or three a year, probably. Like, I don't think I'm for you. And there was a group, I think it was in like Ben Hartley's classroom. Someone asked about it, and it's like, be honest with your couples. They will appreciate it even more if you say, like, Richard, listen, I would love to, but I just don't think I'm for you. I'm going to recommend so and so. The
Yeah,
people will appreciate it. They're going to appreciate you doing it. And then in turn, you're not going to wake up on that. They'd be like, oh, God, I got to shoot Richard's wedding today. This is going to suck.
yeah,
You know, like, I love, like, again, I swear to everyone out there, like, if anyone's even listening, I have no idea, but like, you will love to wake up to shoot your wedding. Like I said, 30 years of doing this, 1,000 weddings, I still love it. I still get nervous on the morning. What am I going to do? You know, and then I get into my zone when I'm doing it. But attract what you want, show what you want to attract. It's
yeah,
so important. Don't just do weddings and don't follow the trends. Be true to yourself and all that kind of good stuff, you know?
yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. This was the fun one.
Yeah, so
The composition in the photo is just unreal.
this is the photo I was talking about. I don't mean to cut you off. But yeah, go ahead, Richard, and then I'll explain.
No, I've just like I was actually just going to segue into or intro the lighting because I know we talked about with the assistant. For me, what captures me the most, I mean, obviously the bride is spectacular. She's lit perfectly, everything. But dude, the way that you captured the bridal party on the
Yeah, it's
bottom
so
left of
great,
that
isn't it?
frame of the dude, to me,
Thank
that's
you.
what really truly is magical about this. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously the bride is killer, but
yeah.
the art in your composition on this photo is spectacular, brother. So yeah, so break this down. Like, how did you guys get to this point? Where was this a first dance, dirty dancing thing?
Yeah. So so getting back to knowing your couples, one of the things I always ask my couples, hey, during the reception, are you guys doing anything special? Is there a choreographed dance? Before I would ask my couples, it was like all of a sudden they would break into a dance. I'm like, holy shit, what the hell is happening here? This is the wrong spot, blah, 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 blah. So I knew they were doing this dirty dancing photo. And oh man, dude, the dance floor is packed. It's like insane. And it was almost in slow motion. She's over on the other side where those people are doing her little, with like in the movie two-step thing where it's like, that song, The Time of My Life.
Dude, totally.
And in the video they showed me and sent to me, she got up there and was like, oh, like totally just
Dude, she
up
killed
there.
it,
He
bro.
held her. What's
Dude,
that?
she killed it. I mean, she's laid
Dude,
out.
all right. But so she's about to run. I get ready. All of a sudden, there's people literally like everyone moved in anticipation of this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my assistant Blaze, I have this guy, Dave Alonso, he's my main, like, he knew. We both looked at each other like, holy shit. I literally dropped to my back. I literally kind of crawled under people practically. He got back and held the light because he knew she was going to jump and he was going to, dude, there were so many elements to make this happen. I shot the photo. Like I said, I was on the ground. He lit it. I look, I'm like, dude, we nailed it. He's just like, holy shit. I
So
can't
this
believe
is
you got it. I'm
one
like,
frame?
"What?" One frame.
One
Dude,
frame. I love that. I love
how
those
long you
shots.
think she kept her arms? How long you think she kept her arms up like that?
I would say a split second, dude. Like, I mean,
Less than a split. Dude,
yeah.
I was like, he's like, dude, you have no, I'd be like, what happened? He's like, her arms, he's like, they went like this, dude. And they were down in a second. And she sent me the video of the dance after. Even I was like impressed myself. I was like, I cannot believe I caught that moment. Like,
Dude, killed it, bro.
you talk
Like,
about firing at the right second, at the right time, looking through the lens. And dude, it was like up and down in a second. And if you look at this photo, it looks like he's just like, oh, I'm holding my wife up. And it was insane, man.
how much is
But
cropped?
not much.
Okay.
I had a little bit. I shot it probably with my 1635.
Yeah.
D5. I don't shoot my mirrorless during receptions. I still love my D5. And that's it, man. Like, it's light. You can see I have one light on a stand back there. I probably have most of my reception lighting is kind of triangular or two backlights in my main. So you could see my one light on a stand there. That other one is that's in the stage is like, I don't know whose light that is, but it's not mine. My flash is going off above the speaker there.
Yeah.
And that's what's giving that separation. Actually, on the left, if you're looking at this camera, the left, that's probably what's lighting up and rim lighting her on, I mean, she's perfect. I mean, it's just, the rim lighting is
Dude, the
sick.
rim light on her calf or her shin is
Yeah, I'm
just
right.
money,
Yeah,
dude.
so that's from the two backlights, and my,
Yep.
Dave is holding the front light, and it pure luck, man, in a way. But your assistant knowing you what to do, you pre-plan ahead. This moment's going to happen, and having the right lens on, again, pre-planning. They're doing this crazy dance. I am going to be ready for this moment, you know? Because if I didn't get on, I may have had my 70 to 200 on or whatever, 24/70. I was not going to capture this, So
well, you killed it, bro. This is definitely a fearless photo, in my opinion.
I never sent even the Flashmasters. I should send it into that too. I never thought about it.
Don't send it into Flashmasters because even though I missed this past round, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was so busy. I had those couple destination sessions and stuff, so I missed this round. I didn't have no
Oh
submissions this
yeah.
round. But you can hold off on the Flash Masters maybe until next year.
Let you catch up, man.
But this is yeah. This Fearless definitely, I would say, like, to me, when I think of
But I
Fearless,
don't think people realize, dude, how fast that happened. They may think like, oh, she stood there and he shot it. Like, if there's a backstory to it, maybe it'll be like, holy shit, that is insane, you know?
no,
But there's no backstory that kind of goes with it. So
incredible, brother, absolutely
thanks, man.
incredible.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have another, again, a different. I think this is a different technique than I've used, but I like the lower light, the lower umbrella to the subject with no grid. I'm gonna try that out.
Yeah, dude. It just spreads more. It gives you more spread, you know? So that
Whoa,
is a
whoa, whoa, whoa,
little,
whoa, whoa, my
you
bad.
could
Sorry.
see it. Yeah, yeah. So they're a little out of order. So that's kind of what it looks like, you know? And then it's a two-person composite. My assistant, you know, it's with the glow box. I probably didn't use my Geekoda that day. But that's a glow. Same thing. I think it's a 26 and just
Just doesn't
cool.
transport as cool as the Geekoda.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the, you know, the edited version.
So, did you
And
use any color correction? It looks
nope.
like no CTOs in this one.
Nope. Let me think for a second because maybe that's not true. If anything, it might be a quarter in there, but I don't think so.
Just look. Did you pop the blue out in post?
Well, that's my two-man actions. I use the
Okay,
two-man
okay, gotcha.
actions
Okay.
from Develop that are my favorite actions, dude. Like you hit a button and, you know,
I'm gonna plug
it's
the
amazing.
2-man just because they do have that show. they have their live stream.
Yeah, but don't say that now. Everyone will leave.
uh,
I don't
but
want to
there,
compete with Lanny and Erica, you know?
but a lot of our community, people I talk to, man, they're not aware. You know, like, and so
Yeah.
2-man is one of those inspirational, out
Oh,
of
the
the
best.
box. I mean,
They're the
literally,
best.
in my opinion, probably the best.
Yeah,
Just
they are the best.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Lanny and Erica are just not only that, they're awesome people.
yeah,
It's not just their photos, they're just who they are is what is amazing, you
yeah.
know?
So if you're
So
watching and you hear this and you've never heard of the number 2MANN, they're out of the UK. Phenomenal
no, Canada.
educators.
Canada, not the
Canada.
UK.
Okay,
Canada.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
Just insane work, tools, education, everything. So yeah, check those guys out. Yeah, not right now.
Yeah, not right now.
Beautiful photo. Again, I think when you learn to see those things differently, man, and
Yep.
a simple area, but when you see the lines around,
But going back, I don't mean to cut you off again, Richard, like this is important to them. So this bridge they lived in Asbury. This is Asbury Park, New Jersey. It's the other side. So Asbury Park's behind them. This was like Ocean Township, whatever it was. These gate used to be closed. They used to sneak across this bridge after hours and jump, like crawl on the things to the left and right, the little statues. So
oh
this
wow,
bridge was important to them. They lived together in Asbury Park for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it was. So I wanted to capture, you know, the graffiti and the ugly, like, you know, you would think like, well, why are you shooting that? Look at that ugly pole with the stickers all over it and the bridge and the garbage. Like, it's like, this is where they were from.
dude.
So
But
again, this photo means something to them. It's not just a cool looking spot. So getting to know your couples, well, what do you guys want to do? Like we can walk to Asbury Park and shoot the boardwalk. Yeah, sure, it's awesome. And we did do that. But like I've never, in all the times I have 2 shoots actually coming up the next week alone at Asbury Park, never shot at this particular spot, you know, because it's like getting to know this couple. This was important to them. So this is where we did their photos.
the way that you set it up, man, the leading lines with the handrails over here, the internal framing that you did with the hands in the cement is incredible. To me, that really stands out. I think that's a lot of times when we think of when we're setting up a shot, when we think of framing and we think of these lines, we stop. Like, oh yeah, hey, there's a picture where they're getting framed by the bushes, right? Like that's the obvious. but you forget about the leading lines, and you forget about the gaits, and you forget about the internal, like framing the hands in that nice clear brick area. That's
Well,
something that I think a detail
and
that a lot
also
of
the
people are going to
posing, man,
miss.
just since you're literally on it, I always have the bride's hand showing, because the groom, if the groom takes the hand, the groom goes like this and just
Yeah.
swallows the girl's hand, you know? Always have the female's hand in the guy's hand, you
Yep.
know? So I always do that. And I see so many photos where people do that, and there's just this like gripping, stressful looking hand destroying the female's hand. And it's like, again, it goes back to posing a little bit. That's a little, and those little small things are what's going to make a
Dude, there are
difference.
so many little things in this photo that make it
Yeah.
spectacular. Like
Yeah.
if you were to give if you'd give this shot to 1,000 photographers, 995 of them, it would just be the same boring shot. Like
Yeah.
it's the little things. This is a good picture. Like if you're watching, to study this picture and understand what really truly makes this so great. The balance of him between the light. I mean, there's so many little tiny things that make this picture amazing. So
Thanks,
uh,
man.
again, just being able to see those little tiny things a little differently, is, is
Hmm.
is all the difference in the world.
Yeah. This is just another one of those reflections, kind of miserable, pouring rainy day out, and just had my assistant in there just shooting. I did ask the makeup artist be off to the camera left a little bit so I do see the bride, but my assistant's right over her with the 26 and just filling that space.
I love the clouds though.
Yeah, dude. So
In
this
in
was
a
a
little bit of
wedding.
the palm tree. Is that a palm tree right over here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
bro.
little palm
Dude, I
tree.
dig it.
It was in West Palm Beach, and it rained for 4 straight days, dude. Like it
Well,
was this past December, supposed to be this place called Breakers. Oh my God, we're shooting a Breakers. It's gonna be awesome. It literally rained from the second we landed to the second we took off, dude. It rained for 4 straight days. But
well, dude.
again, going back to knowing how to light inside and the composites and all that good stuff, man. It's like,
How many tricks
dude,
do you got in your bag? Right. Yep.
exactly. You got to be prepared.
I have a one of my segments for one of my senior clients next week, and I was talking to her mom, and she wants the sunset tennis. She's a tennis player, so we're gonna do some sunset
Hmm.
tennis pictures. And her mom said, "Well, hopefully, we get a beautiful sunset, and knowing our luck, we'll get a bunch of storm clouds." And I'm like, "Well, whoa, wait a minute, Ma. Some storm clouds might be
It'd
pretty
be
damn
cool.
cool."
Yeah, yeah. It would be.
Like,
Exactly.
hold on a second, like let's think about it. But again,
Yeah.
having that skill set and having that mindset that you can see something artistically and not necessarily get exactly what you've expected. You got to have to kind of think on
Exactly.
the fly and do that. And this is a great example of that. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
Telling the story.
This is
So this has
beautiful.
some BTS also. So
Yeah, let's
you
go
should
here.
show like the other. So
All
this
right.
is a really cool hotel. It's in Jersey City. And again, the iconic thing. What's iconic is this cool. To me, it looks like something out of Star Wars. It looks like an Imperial Star Destroyer or something.
Right.
So I was totally gravitated towards it. So I wanted a cool shot up there. So that's what the shot was. And then if you go to the left, they probably see my assistant lighting it. Yeah, so that's my assistant right there, and you can see the light. Again, simple. It's one light. I didn't backlight them, nothing else. And then you could show the photo. That's the finished photo.
Absolutely stunning, man. Again, a very simple technique,
Yep.
a very simple setup, showing the value of an assistant. Hey, real quick, because I'm playing around a couple different things. I know Jesse and Maura use a lot of walkie-talkie stuff because they're. Um, what do you use? And I thought I heard you say telephone. Do you guys
No,
do
it's just
earbuds with the phone? Like,
no, just my phone.
okay,
Like I'll have it on, just turn it on and just like, hey, just put it on speaker. And they're up there. I think actually, to be honest with you, that I was yelling in the hotel, just being like,
okay.
dude, to the left, to the right. My assistant, again, having someone that could do it, they were literally like hanging over the edge to make that light come in this way a little bit, you
Yeah.
know? So it helps to have someone that can hold that up.
our video guys use Discord and earbuds uh, for weddings to communicate when they're using video.
Yeah.
But it just they have sometimes if we're in you know no Wi-Fi or anything like that. But that's what I kind of thought too. I was like, well, you know what, hun? I was like, what? I was talking to Tori, not calling you hun, but I was talking to Tori, and I was like, you know, what if we just had a phone call and we all had
Yeah.
one earbud in? That may be a good. So you use the phone, so that.
But what you know what's cool with Blaze and a few of them, I do hand signals. Like I can like, light here, here, get low. Like I kind
Okay.
of learned
You went
I'm
old
a
school
big
Yogi
Bruce.
Berra baseball stuff.
Well, it's like Bruce Springsteen, dude. If you watch Bruce Springsteen on stage, he's always kind of calling, like he directs with his hand in a way, and kind of how I thought of it, because it's just so much easier than like, it's like hand signals. And
Okay.
so that's how I do a lot of my stuff. It's just like, I need my light here. There's a moment happening. I know I need it here, because I'm kind of like composing and, just put my arm up and do things.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Because I think that's important too. Is definitely good communication.
Oh yeah, man. 100%. It's everything.
This might be one of my favorite ones, just because.
I love this photo. But again,
that
man,
emotion there, dude. That emotion is so crucial to this image, obviously.
yeah. So this is an awesome bride. Again, shot a million times at this venue. People have, but I had her standing on. It's stupid, maybe if you think about it, but I had her think far enough. That's the railing right there that goes down below. So if she fell, it would have been bad. But I think people were supporting the tape. Like, I made safety first out of everything. I have 20-pound sandbags I bring to every wedding that are orange. And it was funny. I was like, "You're Marilyn Monroe. You're fucking Marilyn Monroe." And she was such an awesome bride. She just was doing it, like that Marilyn Monroe shot
Yeah.
where the dress flying up, and yeah, and that I love the energy. I love the whole everything about it. This was her party dress. This wasn't her wedding dress. The
Right.
hindsight, if I look back at it, I wish I would have had a little more front light on her legs. But then if I did, it would have hit the railing, and you could see the railing to the right a little. I didn't want that distraction of the railing.
Yeah, and I love that you did leave the chairs there, because I think that's awesome. I think it tells part of that story.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're not. You have to look for them. Like
yeah.
I think if you would have put a light down there,
Yeah, it would have become distracting, I think,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
that's
certainly.
Manhattan behind her, and I just wanted this glamorous, like she was so fun. Her and her fiance, her name's Maria. She was just so fun. I have so many great shots where I shot her in a bathtub and shot her with these crazy glasses she brought, and it just really, every photo with her was amazing, just super fun. But again, I'm feeding her.
Yeah.
If she would have got up there and I said, "Oh, cool, Maria, okay, that's great, okay, cool, we got like," everyone was gathered around. I'm like, "Cheer on, people," and they're like, "Yeah, go, Maria," and they're all yelling at her, and she's living it, man. Like, that's her experience at her wedding with me. It's like, you know,
No.
it's that's
Eh,
what it is. I want to give my couples an experience.
yeah. The memory behind that image for her
Yeah, it's
is more
awesome.
valuable than how beautiful of an image it really is.
Yep,
So,
yep, exactly.
all right. So this was the second one. When I said the two difference, I love the pose, but I there's two different looks, and that last one was a full spray. I mean, just going everywhere. But I also like the lines and the way that it brings my eyes to that beautiful smile, that rock star tongue sticking out,
Yeah,
where there's not any champagne. You know what I mean? The champagne's
yeah.
more going outwards. Is that
That's
intentional, or is that something that just
no,
happens
that's
naturally?
just the way people spray, man.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, but that's me as I'm shooting. Get fucking crazy. Get fucking come on, Maria. She's just like,
Right.
and
Yeah,
I do yell, "Look at each other and get fucking crazy. Look at each other and get fucking," and they do it. Again, if you don't direct them, they're not going to do it.
yeah,
And the one I like about this is that I'm closer and it's a little wider, and you're kind of getting that kind of, cool wide vibe kind of thing happening.
yeah, yeah.
So, but same lighting, same exact lighting. And yeah, man, it's just feed your couples, people. You know, they need to be fed. You
Do
know.
you use just rare bare bulb in the back, or do you use some
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
diffuser?
So yep. So good question. That the back flash is probably 10 feet back. Spread the flash to like 24 or 35, so there's more of a spread. You
Okay.
know, it's not right on top of them. It's further back. And then the blue one is the same thing. It's a little bit spread. I don't know why it didn't. Actually, I think I remember why. I think the flash got knocked over for some reason with this, and that's why the blue wasn't spreading as far. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's why it's not as blue. But I still look like the little hint in the black behind it still looks cool.
Yep.
But yeah, the flash is bare bulb. There's no grid. You know, it's spraying everything because you want to capture all that
Right,
champagne.
right, right.
You know,
Well,
so yeah.
sometimes I'll put a sphere on mine, and I
Yeah,
can't tell if
I
I
don't
like
even
it
know
or
where
not
mine
with or
is.
with. I can't tell.
What's that?
I can't tell if I like it with or without. Like
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it needs it for that because you know, the sphere is just softening the light, isn't it?
well, no, I think it will soften it a little bit, but it does spread because of the shape.
Hmm.
Um,
Because
but
if you're
on
at
my
24,
Gikoto, I
man,
can't.
that light is going everywhere. You know, if you zoom your flash out at 24, it's gonna go everywhere, you
Yeah,
know? So
yeah. Always looking and learning, so I
yeah,
always
man,
like to, to
100%.
to ask. But
100%.
gorgeous question. And again, this is real champagne.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's gotta be.
that's awesome.
Has to be real champagne.
All right, man. Well, hey, I think we made it through all of them, dude.
Yeah. Cool.
So thank you so much
Any
for
questions?
sharing your evening. Do we have any questions coming in? All right.
No.
So we are all set, brother.
Okay. Awesome, man. Well, thank you, dude. It was fun.
No, it was great, great chat with you. A lot of fun. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time. So
Thanks,
thank
man.
you
I
again.
appreciate it.
Please leave any information that you can share in the comments for this,
Okay.
for
Totally
everyone
will.
that comes back, and
Okay.
we'll keep sharing the love. And yeah, we wish you
If
well, brother.
anybody has any questions, though, they leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer it, man. You know, if anybody has questions about anything.
Well, again, I appreciate your time, man, and we wish you well. And I hope I see you in person very soon.
Yeah, man. Be awesome. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it, man.
All right, Jeff. Take it easy, man.
Take care, man. See ya.